my first video is still loading, so I decided to come to this one and make another video on me talking about me critically thinking the Tower of Babel or the City of Babel. And I just think this movie this would be an awesome freaking movie, right? Because it has the element of surprise, the suspense, the drama, the thrilling parts. Like, this will be an awesome fucking movie. And I'm trying to figure out why Hollywood has not blessed us, or some producers have not blessed us with the Tower of Babel. Because let's just think about the scenario here. Let's think about the scene. First, it has to be a beginning of where the thought of it came. You know, it might have been Messiah or someone, Jehoshaphat, was sitting down one day and plundering, and this extraterrestrial being just happened to vaguely transparent itself into the reality of Josiah at that time, and speaks to Josiah, tells Josiah how awesome he is, and how his people are overcomers, and how they're able to be like the gods, and just build his mind up. And so Josiah just goes out into the town and just starts spreading the word to all the local town people who have been living on the ground and having these visitations from these beings that's just using them as shit. Day in, day out. Granddaddy died. Grandson pick it up, still building. They building, you know? And think about the time that passed and how much they had evolved. And if that's the case, you know, were the gods not visiting as often? Because if the gods was visiting often, they would have seen the people was up to something. So this means the God wasn't visiting as often. They just probably left some people down there and told them, hey, monitor these people and we'll be back in 1,000 years or some shit, you know? So the people, you know, the leaders or the monitors that they left down there at that time, they decided to, you know, start having relations with the people on Earth. So they wasn't really watching what was being done because they were so, you know, caught up with what was being done to them. So the tower is being created, the city is being created, people are starting to move into the towers, they're coming out of the cold, they're coming out of the rain, they have something they can have for shelter. So this tower is now what we'll call a modern age tower of, like, you know, Trump Tower or something like that, you know, it's reaching the skies. So the gods at that time was like, hey, and look, maybe it was even going higher, maybe it was being higher than Mount Everest. We don't know truly how high this tower was, but it was passed in the place where the gods, when they came back and seen it, probably penetrating through the Earth's atmosphere. Like, what the fuck? We don't know. Okay, but this is like an awesome ass movie. And so they outside one day, you know, minding the fields, tending to the animals, and all of a sudden the noise breaks through, and they look up and hear these gods come again. They're like, oh no, run! And the gods see what's going on, like, no, this will never work. What the hell? So the gods, they just go amok. They go crazy. They just destroy the language. They killing the tower, bodies slinging left and right, people running for their lives, screaming. You can just imagine that day. People running outside of their, you know, their house that's still on the ground. They're looking up. The people on the bottom of the tower running outside to see the top tower fall. They're like, ah! Everybody running. Camels running wild. Ox running wild. Chicken trying to fly. Just that day. Okay? Somebody, grandma probably had made an awesome lunch for the people that come in on lunch break, and she was mad because her whole meal just got destroyed. It was a chaotic day in the Tower of Babel. So I'm just saying, if the gods back then was destroying back then, baby, and understand it's gods. The Bible may say Lord, but then you go down to verse 7, it's going to say us. So it wasn't just that one. So it's that same us from the beginning when it said, let us make men in our image. Then it said, let us go destroy what men has created. So it's that us. Okay, so that's why I'm like, the Bible is just so many rewrites and so many redos and reversions and other people's perspectives and how other people may see things. It's just different, you know? And I'm just like, If we were to give those people a voice, because the Bible don't give them a voice. The Bible does tell us that, the Lord came down and destroyed the language, destroyed the people, and because he knew that the people were going to be able to do awesome things. If they could just all stick together, they can do an awesome thing. And to this day, I still realize, well, would that be so bad though? If the God of the Bible was so loving and so caring and wanted to see his people thrive, would it have been so bad that the people got together and did an impossible thing and made it a tower? Like, why would that make you angry? What were you trying to hide? What is it that you didn't want them to succeed at? Because they had put years and generations and time. And just think of it like this, people. Like, to this day, look at all the stuff that we may have tried to accomplish in our life, and our great great grandparents, and people from back then, and the things they tried to accomplish. But you know how they say, 1 foot forward, 2 steps back. It's like you put 1 foot forward and you take 3 steps back. Is that the same narrative that's going around today? But it's not as severe because we're not building towers, but we're trying to build a name for ourselves. I mean, I'm a critical thinker. I'm just sitting up here before I got ready to get ready for work, and just wanting to make this video. But if the God back then, or the gods, if they destroyed the Tower of Babel back then, are they still destroying the things that we work so hard for, and things that we try to reach, and our dreams that we try to chase, and stuff that we really wanted, and like, that isn't God's plan for your life? Okay, but that's what I want. So what is his plan for my life, and what if I don't want his plan? So that means everything I try to do for myself is going to get destroyed? But the movie would be awesome because, I want to see how they had the little, cities inside the tower. I would want to know how they were decorated, the rooms, the buildings, how the walkway was. Like, just to know, because sometimes we have this narrative in our minds that those days was just old as clay shit. But people were very inventive back those in their days. Because if you could think they made that tower, stuff that, I know I couldn't do, and to this day, I don't know how many people can get together in one unity and create something for the whole unity. It was the whole earth. I'm quite sure they weren't being stingy and charging no admission fees. You can come all, come one, come all, to come see the great Tower of Babel in the city of Babel. But we won't know that narrative. But I think it would be a great movie. So I hope y'all got the nuggets that I throwed out in there. Genesis chapter 11, verse 1 through 9. People spoke one word, one voice, one speech, one language, built something that was, should have been impossible, wasn't it? But was not impossible because they all got together in the one accord. And the God did not like that. The gods did not like that. The Christian God of the Bible of Genesis is what I'm trying to figure out. There's too many gods in that Bible. But he didn't like it, destroyed it, and said out loud within his own mind that these people are capable of doing anything they put their minds to. So let's just scatter their language, make it desolate, destroy their towers, destroy their lands, and just fuck it. The Tower of Babel. Let's talk about it. So, once upon a time on Earth, there was a universal language that everyone spoke one language. And we know that language holds keys to knowledge and wisdom. Language holds power because, it depends on the language that you speak. If it has the right vibration to the language and the words that this language is spoken, it can unlock a lot of things, right? So these people had determination. They got together, they spoke one language, and they was building this tower to see what is above the sky. So these people were smart as hell. Or either they kept seeing something come down from the sky and they was curious to see what it was and where it was coming from. And they spoke it together and they began to create it instantly out of manifestation. They spoke one language, they came together, and they did one thing as one because they were not separated. They had a goal together. Now, the crazy part to me about this is like these people had a dream that they wanted to achieve. They came together, they started working on something, and they put their mind together and they started working towards a plan, a goal. And do you know how much work these people put into this? The years, the sweat, the preservation. And then some gods or some beings got angry and destroyed the temple along with the language, which would then divide the people. But then what would happen to the ancient language? And what was the ancient language used for? So another thought for me is, you know, they had to give us fire. The gift of fire was given to us from the gods, you know. Then we learned how to use fire, and then they taught us how to use weaponry, and then they came and taught us how to dig for metal, and then they taught us how to use metal for weaponry. Let's keep, you know, teaching us how to build. So my question is, which one of the gods, you know, the Anunnaki or whatever gods you think created this, which one of them inspired the human, gave that human thought to then tell the other humans to do this? Like, that's a question. Someone had to inspire, some deity, some being had to inspire humankind to create this, because it wasn't just thought of. You know, it was an inside job, because I don't think back then in them days, you know, it's too much. Did this happen before the moon came or after the moon came? Because if this happened before the moon came, I don't know. I think it happened before the moon came.
Yeah, you know them days, man, when you just think about somebody and you just want to call them up and just say, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you!
There is no possibility. None. It's a never for me, okay? It will never, ever, ever work, ever. And I've been saying this to these people for a very long time.